introduce someone that doesn't need any introduction. He's played Aaron Burr 3 times in dual reenactments, and done so very well in a splendid blue.
Shot him dead 3 times.
Antonio Burr, PhD, psychologist from New York City.
All right, thank you, Stuart. First, I think, of course, we should thank our hosts, Shelley and Greg, for their generous hospitality. Thank you guys. It's a lovely town. I mean, coming from Manhattan, the idea that you can drive up the street and park your car is just miraculous.
Well, it also violates our motto: never trust air you can't see.
So a couple of things. I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I think are very important to the association. And the first thing is I want to introduce Camilla Huey, who is a couture artist, and she's just had a fabulous run with an exhibition at the Jumel Mansion in northern Manhattan, Harlem Heights, The Loves of Aaron Burr in Corsetry and Binding. Camilla kept on adding to the show, and so I was so glad to be at the opening and at the closing. And there was really good drinks at both occasions.
And parking.
So it was a terrific show. And as you know, the Jumel Mansion has always been interested in our expanding of our relationship with them because they do share in our Burr history, of course, with its caveats, so to speak. So I want to do this. I want to let Camilla tell us a little bit about her show, and she's brought some catalogs so that you can see what she presented there, which was really fabulous art. And then I'm going to very briefly propose a project that we're developing with the Jumel Mansion, which has direct import and impact on both our organization and the direction in which the Burr memory is being promoted and kept at the mansion. Okay? With you, Camilla Huey.
It's a pleasure to be here. As a new member of the Burr Association, my husband and I are really pleased to be here. I began this show because of reading the letters of Aaron Burr. I was investigating and researching Madame Jumel to write a biography, and started reading his letters, and some of the first letters that I read were between himself and Theodosia, his wife. And they were such lovely, intelligent letters. They were captivating. It was a portrait of a marriage, and Kurt and I were reading them together, and it was so unlike all of the other history and American history that you're taught and that you read. It was elevated, it was intellectual, they were arguing with one another, she had points, she was asserting herself and really mentoring him. She was 10 years his senior. And so I began to find these women who were writing about Aaron Burr. They were writing about one another or to one another. They were talking about incidents in common. And I came up with 8 women in the lives of Aaron Burr that were his loves. And it starts with Esther Burr, his mother, who died so young in his life and her own. And it carries through to Madame Jumel and Jane McManus, who was the co-respondent in the Jumel-Burr divorce. So I find him amusing and enlightening. I find him telling a different truth on incidents that were contemporary, that the other founders burnished and colored in retelling it. And he speaks directly and clearly. He reads like a modern intellect. And that was what was so interesting. And I'm a couturier. I've spent 25 years in New York creating costumes, sets, props. I've worked with couturiers and dressed stars, Janet Jackson, Katy Perry, J-Lo, and so I thought before I started writing the book that what I do best is personify women through design, texture, color. It's the way that I meet and dress the socialites and stars that are in Manhattan. And I wanted to do that with these women. And I started with Madame Jumel and with Theodosia, his daughter. And those were two of the first that I worked on. And so I started visiting corsets and dresses in historic archives. I went to the Museum of the City of New York and visited the only dress that belongs to Madame Jumel. And I went to the Hermitage and visited Theodosia Senior's corset and did those as recreations with interpretation. And it was very much that these ladies are all speaking from the heart. You can feel the need for them to express themselves and to have an outlet for their passions. And it all felt as if it was coming from here, and what better than a corset to have letters exploding out of it. And so there's a catalog and a gift bag at the front for each of you to see this work, and I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.